Welcome everyone. Valentine, thank you for the opportunity to show our journey we made last year about how to introduce new technology, new analytics into our corporation. I want to take you just along the journey we made and show you what struggles we had to overcome to eventually successfully adapt new analytics in our process. Let's see. First, a little bit about Dyneema. At Dyneema, we are the strongest fiber in the world. It's a very easy process. If you, at first glance, we just take high molecular weight polyethylene, and what we do is you have the normal strands, they're all curled up. The only thing what we actually do is we align them along each other and we form fibers. And those fibers, the alignment makes them ultra strong. It's like 400 times, 400 kilometers. It can be prolonged before it collapses on its own weight. And if you compare it to like steel, that's only 25 times its own weight it can handle. And you see we have the top opportunity in rope business. So now we have 3 plants in the world where we produce the fiber. One in Holland, one in the United States, and another one in China. I also could plot our competitors, but then the whole map would be red because there are many companies trying also to do what we do. So that's what we need to stay on top and be the most successful and most high quality performer in the market. Where do we all, our product is in multiple areas it's used. It's in the bulletproof vest, the helmets. We have cut resistant gloves. It's in mooring cables to attach oil shores. Industrial lifting, everything where you can replace steel by the fiber, you reduce weight, it gives you a higher return of investment. Now what's coming back to our strategy, it's global DSM. Our brighter science, big living, brighter living is our company motto. It's mostly focusing on how to make the world a better place for the current generations and the generations to come. So, and how do we do it? Now, we need to be sustainable and deliver for our customers. There's also coming back into the strategy of this year, driving profitable growth. And it's for the profitable growth is the key part, because in the past we built plants, we had production lines. If we want to increase, we just add another line and we produce more and more. So that gives you volume, but it's not necessarily sustainable because the waste also keeps on increasing, and that's what you want to get rid of to be a sustainable company. So what we do is we transform the strategy to our site targets. We have 4 targets. It's cash. That's just incident-free workplace, safety for everything. So that's a no-brainer, and that's where everyone should work on. Then we have the capacity increase and process stability. That's where my group, the technology department, comes into play, because we need to increase our capacity. And we're not allowed to increase extra lines, so we need to upgrade our our efficiencies and reduce our waste and use new technology to better understand our process and get more out of the current assets we have. Now, what normally we have 3. What normally is trials is the way we improve. A trial, that's a fundamental research. A new kind of development is being investigated. It consumes up your production time on the lines. So that's for a company that's actually a production company 24/7, yeah, you cannot, it's interfering with your production process. So it's not the most suitable way on getting more up-to-date information. So what we then did is, now we stepped over to big data regression. We have a lot of data, a lot of lines, and the data is there, but it's still data. We need to get to the next step, get it into information and the prescriptive and predictive states in the end. But so we started up with the big data regression set. We invited a few companies. There was most sessions you all last week also said, give us your data and we provide you with the answer. Now we did that 3 times and we got no answer at all. So that's claims, but nobody has showed the real solution. So what we did is we actually made it a local initiative. Just do it ourselves. We have the engineers that have the knowledge. Only the data science, that's the part we need to grow. So every time we got stuck, we just add we contacted the data scientists to make another step. But the most critical issue we have here is it's cleaning up the data. It takes a lot of time, and that also doesn't give you your actually current process increase at the moment you want it at this date in time. So we go over to another part of sports, looking for new tools that will improve our current way of working. And one presentation came along from Trend Miner. And it gave us such good, a good feeling that it will deliver something more than we are currently using for our daily control. So that's what we want to try to test in the proof of concept from last year. So it's intended for the process engineers at their current current work, daily support and troubleshooting. So it needs to be integrated in their current way of working. It needs to be the ease of use needs to be there, because you cannot have trained people in very complicated software tools, and then they don't want to. If they don't get it, they will stay in their old habits and use their old software. You need a driver to get them to use it. So that's also what we saw from the presentation. It was easy to use, very quick results. So what we did, we started in 2017 with a proof of concept to get the value. Now we divided into 2 parts. First, get the people, the trainers are instructed, get the hardware in place, set up some use cases so we can instruct our people with the new software. Now that all took part in the first quarter of 2017. We thought we were working and on track. Then the instructions came for our engineers, and it seemed there was something missing, because we didn't have any use cases that were actually applicable to their daily job. So it was standard use cases from Trend Miner to show all the possibilities the program can deliver, but it was not tuned down to their way of working. So people tend to stop using it, go back to their old habits, and it took us a while to actually get the feedback. Why can't we use it in our own system and upgrade it? So it was possible, but we learned and we overcome all the challenges. And in the end, quarter 3, the system was back in place. And then when you show the engineers the examples for their current way of working, they say, oh yeah, it's very easy. I now see the point why you want us to use it. And that's a big learning. We now are showing other business groups that also are interested. make sure you don't get the same struggle or the pitfalls we got. Get your system up to date and get the examples so the transition from your current way of working to the new tool will be as easy as possible. So in the end, we had to get a proof of concept and show the added value of the program. So we had a number of subjects, and I will briefly go over them one at a time. Now, the troubleshooting is a very easy function in TrendMiner. You can get the triggers that will alert you on certain process conditions. Normally, when an engineer does a test and he needs to get feedback, he needs to be up 24/7 all the time to get on top of his trial. And for a few weeks, when a trial takes place, that's no issue. But when you continually want to improve, continually want to monitor, it's too much to keep on track all the time on all the issues you have set up. So with TrendMiner, you can make alerts and you can get feedback real time. When there's some upset, you get an email or an SMS, and it will inform you. You need to check your recipe. If the recipe needs to adjust it, you can do it in time, because otherwise production will start again, and you still have the same recipes. You get in the same state again. You get an extra failure, and that's what you see here. You have repeated failures, but now with the new situation, you can act on the process engineers enables to react and change the recipe, and we don't get as much recurring failures anymore. So that saves you a lot of downtime in the process. So that's one of the, it's just a small feature, but it has a big impact on our daily process. Another one is we make a lot of products. We need to do a lot of comparisons, see where are the opportunities, what are the differences of a number of lines, a number of different process parameters. Normally, they had to take all the tags from a certain recipe, get the manual behind into Excel, but now they just select all the parameters they need, and they hit the button, and you get a nice overview here that shows all the interactions per period you selected, and also it gives you an amount of deviation between all the different periods. So you can see here I have 1,000% offset compared to the other settings, so there's something definitely wrong in this period, and you can focus on your right parameter instantly. The other one was the engineers were very pleased with this feature, but they said, yeah, and now we got the comparison, but we still need to manually type it all over in our report. It's very cumbersome, because now you see 3, but normally you have 10 or 15 products. It's a big list. So therefore, it's also a nice feature from TrendMiner. You have a little button in the screen, and it says, make a wish. And then you can enter your wish, and if it's added value, it will be incorporated into the further versions on. Now, and what we did was we made a wish, and now not the current version, but the next one, it will be incorporated, and we will have the export to get it all in one file. So that's, you get a very quick interaction with the supplier if there is something you want or see is better. And then another one is the root cause analysis. We have when we do have an issue, you need to investigate a lot of parameters and over a lot of periods. What TrendMiner does enable you can make your selection of the product in question, on which time was it active, which parameters were involved, gives you an overview of all the correlations that possibly exist between those parameters, which allows you to actually get very fast to the hypothesis that you need to investigate instead of the cumbersome task of getting through all the list. And another thing is it's very quick. Normally we do an RCA session. The first session we discuss the problem, the hypothesis, and then you get an engineer to collect the data, and after 3 weeks we get another session. Most people are already no longer on track with the issue. In this case, you get the data instantly on the fly and you can continue instead of waiting 3 or more weeks, and so faster getting to the cause of your problem. Another one is also very interesting. You can add extra external data also as a tag, so you can compare your quality data to your process settings very quickly instead of doing everything, exporting to Excel and do your regression manually. So that's a time saver for very, let's see. And the last one, we are in Dyneema, we have Six Sigma. That's the new way of working. We want to be a data-driven company. That's the Six Sigma approach that's based on the DSM cycle. You define your problem, you measure it, and after you measure it, you do the analysis. What is the impact of your problem, and how do I need to improve it? And then the last step is a control loop that makes sure that your correction will be sustainable over time. Now, this is a process that our management wants every engineer to be a green or black belt with the Six Sigma methodology, just to base your products of your projects on data instead of the one that's shouting it the hardest will get his project to the next step. We need to do value for a gut feeling. So again, it was very easy, the opportunities were there, but again, the people didn't see how do I use the program within my steps of the Six Sigma project. So again, TrendMiner helped us to set up a few charts from when and how often does it occur? What searches do I use to get my data, and how do I use it to get to the next phase? And that we defined for most of all the phases. The only phase TrendMiner is not capable of adding value, that's the improve phase, but that's where you change the production line or the recipe or something else. So that's also not possible for TrendMiner to be as assistants. But what we did is we tested a project, and it took us like 2 weeks to do the 2 first phases. The same project was then analyzed with an engineer and with the assistance of TrendMiner, and we completed the same process in 2 afternoons, actually 2 times 2 hours. So that you see it reduces the amount of work needed to be done by the engineer considerably if he knows how to apply it. So if you show him how to do it, it is really a time saver and enables you to do more projects. And if I sum up all the added benefits, now nearly in all the cases, you see a TrendMiner will add value to your company targets, because you can do more projects. You can do the projects that are giving you the highest profit due to its data-driven and not more gut feeling. And even Six Sigma projects based on for safety improvements also can be done, and TrendMiner is able to help there as well. So in all the categories, we can get the added value of TrendMiner. So what we now are going to do is, for the next year, we have the sister site in Greenville that's now also going to use it. We will roll out a plan with all the learnings we've done in here and get them on track to get the same time saving. We also have identified more groups of people that also can use it. It's not only the engineers, but also R&D, the maintenance, because you also can do it for your assets, and your reliability engineers can also be very useful to use this tool. Furthermore, more business groups within DSM are going to use it. So we have already business groups in Emmen and in Vlaag from other kinds of production sites. They all use it, and we need to establish learnings from each other how to get onto a higher level. Another one is the hazard process. Normally, when you do the process, you identify your safety settings, and you base your frequency on the engineer or the process expert that's joining the session. But now you also are able to just identify by using TrendMiner how many times does my safety incident or my loss of primary containment takes place. So now you have actually a number that will enable you to say, oh, I need a safety provision with this kind of magnitude and not over or underestimate the danger. So that's what we want to introduce in that process. It will be another added value. We are currently, there is an energy efficiency plan to deliver more to reduce our greenhouse impact, and that's also now done manually. If we can get all the energy readings into TrendMiner, you can set up again some alerts and get real-time updates from when your energy is spiking or when there's something happening. So that will also add to your focus on where to identify energy-saving projects. And the last one is the process stability is a big issue also in our plant. Now there becomes a new function available that will help monitor plant stability, execution functionality, and that will also become available in the latter half of this year. So that will help us again getting on track on stability of the plant. And that's what we have.